I thought this was an interesting story. James, you don't have to talk about this one if you don't want to. So feel free to bow out on this one. But MLW, they did a TV taping over the weekend, and but they had a production snafu, so they actually were scheduled to go live on YouTube, and their production, for whatever reason, they just could not get the stream going, and so whatever led. What's that?
I hadn't heard that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't know.
So whatever led to this has led to Dave Marquez, who was in charge of production, no longer being with the company. When Court Bauer got the WWE settlement money, Marquez convinced him that they should upgrade and that they needed TV trucks like WWE and AEW have to be considered legitimate. GPW Productions, which did production for MLW from August 2022 to June 2024, used to fly packs to do GCW, Defy, a bunch of other places. James, I'm reading this from the Observer. James Ontivero, who headed the production, ended up quitting, and Marquez took over, and the GPW team quit with Ontivero. So lots of drama going on in MLW land. They had a live stream that they just could not even get on the air. Looks like David Marquez is out. They have a show coming up on December 5th, and featuring Eric Bischoff of all people, and they don't have a production crew right now. So MLW looking good. Like I said, James, you don't have to talk about this, but because for whatever.
Yeah. For anybody who doesn't know, I currently work for the Reels Television Network. Okay. And we had MLW for a little while, so I'm going to bow out, other than to say, did Dave Marquez move on to Netflix? Did that be what's going on tonight?
I didn't want to put you in a spot. This was just on my list to talk about, James. So, Joe, what say you about this MLW snafu?
How do you let that happen, to like schedule a live broadcast and not even be able to? I can get something on YouTube. Like if I wanted to get, like, I just wonder, did somebody like accidentally kick the wrong cord? It was like this one cord that you only had a special order and nobody could buy it anywhere. Like, what the hell happens?
So it's so funny. And the company GoPro Wrestling, they're called GPW Productions now. They kind of made fun of the thing on Twitter, the story, and then I commented on them. I on the comment I said, Dave Marquez out carnying Court Bauer is pretty tremendous. And they go like, they're like, it's like, yeah, we end up leaving, but at least we could always get our streams going on. This guy talked Court Bauer into buying a whole production truck with the settlement money, and the verbiage in that newsletter made it seem like it was directly from Court Bauer. Like he was complaining about getting fooled by David Marquez. So I just anytime I can talk about some funny stories, I'm gonna go ahead and do that.
Oh man, good old MLW. I'm glad they put all that money to good use.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. We did have a question, and I want to close on a couple of questions here. I don't have any more stories. We're over our time here. Says transferring. He says, I have a question. If you don't have it on your list, what do you make of AEW having no tickets on sale for after the middle of December? Any guesses why? I don't know why. Probably just a scheduling issue. So they actually had a show coming up on December 5th or something like that was in Columbus. They're running a bigger venue. Ticket sales were not great. They actually moved it to a Comic-Con, like a comic convention. So they're going to be working in the hall of the comic convention for Collision. They did book the Hammerstein Ballroom, which I think is actually kind of cool for Collision and for Ring of Honor Final Battle. I don't really make anything of that. That's probably just like a scheduling booking issue. They're probably going to get it figured out.
So one thing about that, the Columbus taping is that con, I was told, does draw about 40,000 people a year. So if you just, with some clever editing, AEW draws 40,000 people.
There you go.
For Collision taping.
Yeah.
So, and one thing that I read that they're also going to consider doing more often is running Collision on Thursdays, taping it Thursday, and then airing it live Saturday, or airing it Saturday, which I think will be good for the talent, just being able to work the back-to-back days and then have more days off. I know they've got a show in St. Louis coming up and Kansas City. Tickets are not moving too well for those. I'm going to wait to see, like, if something interesting happens. They just don't have people that I would want to drive 2.5 hours for, plus, the gas and the parking, even for, $30. So maybe it's just trying to find the smaller venues so they're not shelling out the money for the big basketball arenas. Because, Rocky does concerts. I know how much those arenas cost, and they are not cheap.
Yeah.
So
You're like, our family is in that business, and
Yeah.
booking out those arenas is pretty wild. And
Yeah,
so for you to be only be able to put a couple thousand people in those arenas, like
Yeah.
this past week,
money down the toilet.
yeah. And you're throwing good money after bad, right? Like you're losing your asses. Yeah, you're getting TV money, but they were in Hartford, Connecticut this week, and they had a lot of people they had a short amount of, or small number of people in this huge venue, and it seemed like nobody was there. In fact, I watched TNA Impact last night, and they were running like a 1,500 seater in Fayetteville, North Carolina. They had a little over 1,000 people there. It was like way more lively and vibrant, and it looked better on television than Dynamite did this week.
The bigger arenas, if they're the fewer people in the big arenas, the sound just kind of goes out and has nowhere to echo back from. When like NXT, when they ran the ECW arena, I think they had maybe 1,200 people there, but it sounded big because it's such a small arena that sound just echoes and comes back.
Back in the day, I was a concert promoter. I mean, small time. We do 5,000 seat shows, that sort of thing, and sell out. But the death knell of any promoter is to not fill a place. You would rather have more people that couldn't get in than to have hundreds or thousands of seats empty, because like you said, it completely kills the vibe. It makes it what could be a financially successful show look like a failure of a show. And if they're still trying to do giant arenas with only a couple thousand people showing up, it looks bad. It kills the vibe for the fans. It kills the vibe for the wrestlers in the ring, and you look like a failure. Like, it's on every level. It's a bad idea.
Yeah, it is. I think that they should, for their TV shows, make the pivot to the smaller venues. I'm not talking like they don't have to go to like Memphis TV studio, but like get less than 5,000 seaters. I would say would be right up their alley. Like I'm not saying be like TNA, but be like TNA. Like they're not playing these huge venues that they can't put people in. Now they do have a pay-per-view coming up, TNA Genesis, in January. They're trying to do the Curtis Culwell Center, which is a 7,000 seat arena. And Final Battle was there last year, and they only did 1,800 people, and you could tell. So that's gonna like. I think AEW's done Dynamites there where they've gotten 5,000, but then there recently where they're like below 3 on some of those venues there or events there. New Japan was there and only did 1,000, so TNA is kind of really like they're taking a big swing for their pay-per-view in January, so that'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But we'll talk more TNA tomorrow morning on Brace for Impact right here on the Mike and JD Show. Head to patreon.com/the Mike and JD Show. And if you're watching this on YouTube, hit the like button. Make sure you're a subscriber and comment on this video. I would greatly appreciate it. James knows all about the algorithms, and that's what we do here. We got to trick the algorithm into liking us. That way it draws more people in. But James, man, I really appreciate you being here. Your big return to podcasting. Where can everybody find you on socials, man?
Follow me everywhere on social media at Peppermint Fatty. That's with an F, because I'm, of course, red, white, and round. Other than Snapchat, ladies, slide into my Snap at X Peppermint Fatty X, because somebody stole Peppermint Fatty out from under me, and I will have my revenge on them one day.
Those imposters. Hey, do me a favor. Tell Dan Abrams I'm a big fan. I like his show on News Nation too. And we're Dan Abrams fans here in the Gilbert household here in Hawaii.
I will let you know.
Yeah. Cousin Joe, thanks for being here. Podcast Express reunion from circa 2017. Where can everybody find you?
You can find me on Snapchat at Peppermint Fatty.
No. We found the culprit.
No, I pretty much on just Twitter now, Joe Gilbert 1992, but maybe migrating to Blue Sky to get away from all the bots. But there's nobody on Blue Sky yet, so we'll see.
Dude, I'm sticking with Twitter until it dies, and I don't think it's going to die. In fact, they've had the most usage they've ever had. But yeah, the bots are insane right now. I can't post anything without some pretend prostitute liking it. I'm just like,
it's a nice little ego boost though, like having 5 people, you're like, oh, like these good looking women like my post. Like, it doesn't matter if they're real or not.
Yeah, I had one follow me and unfollow me like 17 times the other day. I just had to block them. This is getting ridiculous.
Trying to trick you into the follow.
Yeah. But all right, guys, that is going to do it for us this week on the Mike and JD show. JD will be back next week. Yep, that's going to do it for us. And until next time, mahalo.
Competition starting to get thick. It's the click, so I hope you work your A game. Ain't made no rain from the track.